Hi, I'm Brandon. I love Tubi Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Tubi Christmas movies.
I'm Alonzo, and to be real, this is
the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host his podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Well, hello, everybody.
Boy.
It's great to be back here on a Monday talking about another Christmas movie. This week, heading back over to the Tubi. Remember when we went to Tubi for the first time? What was that? Was that 2 years ago now?
I think the movie was 2 years ago. We did it last year? No. Because last year you were doing the 25 weeks.
It was 2 years.
No, it was 2 years ago. The Groundhog Day one where the influencer does
Yeah,
that over
it
again.
wasn't terrible.
No.
Not terrible.
Tubi, so say what you will.
Say what you will.
Alonzo, happy to have you back.
Thank you.
How are you?
Great. No, I'm good. I'm just I will never know what childbirth is like. I just want to say up front, I'm not trying to pretend that I would, but the thing that they always tell you about how women forget how traumatic childbirth is or they'd never do it again also applies to writing books.
Yeah, fair.
You forget.
Yeah.
You forget.
Is this your fourth rodeo here doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you never again? Do we have it on the record as never?
That's what I'm thinking now, but obviously in 6 months I'll be like, yeah, sure. What do you got? So
I'm stopping at 4, but I come from a family with 5 kids, and I don't know what to tell you.
With 5 books. My mom wrote 5 books.
5 books, I get a free sub sandwich. You know?
That's right. Yeah,
Boy, wouldn't that be the dream?
Well, tell me about
I'll tell you what. When you have a week like you're having where you have a lot to do you get to Mistletoe Time Machine and go, yes? Or is it like, do you keep putting Mistletoe Time Machine off?
No, it actually becomes like it's a treat. Treat time is to shut my laptop and go sit on the couch and watch Mistletoe Time Machine for 90 minutes.
Treat time.
It's treat time.
It's
It's
treat
time. Let's talk about this treat. Mistletoe Time Machine originally dropped on Tubi on November 24th, 2022, and it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off with a dad filming his kid back in 2008. Her band's Squad 3D.
Squad 3D.
They are amazing. This is a 3-piece band. One person playing the keys with the drum machine, the other person playing the bass, and a lead singer. It's a classic bass keys
three-piece.
Oh, it's amazing. And they're performing at this talent thing, and it's an absolute disaster. There's confetti cannons going off.
There are buzzers.
There's screaming in the crowd.
Vomiting.
There's vomiting. It is a awful performance. Fast forward 14 years, and it is clear that the girls are no longer friends. And I hate that. As somebody who loves my friends,
A friend is a friend
forever.
That's right.
But they're no longer friends. They haven't talked in years. So when Ashani goes home for the holidays at her dad's request, she is shocked to find out, one, that her dad has some sort of sickness that she is confused by.
It doesn't look great.
And also is shocked to find that her friends Taja and Mei Ling,
Is it Tasia?
Tasia, what did I say?
Taja.
Tasia and Mei Ling are there. Dad tricked them all, and they're gonna come back together because
Squad 3D. Squad 3D.
The Squad 3D's not together. What's the point of all of this?
That's right.
And so the girls take a walk at a Christmas market. Dad recommends this. He says, if you guys can't walk through the market and get back together, that's the magical market. And at this Christmas market, they come across the worst Santa of all time. Now, it's clear to everybody that this is the worst Santa of all time. This isn't like that's a really bad Santa. This is like I think for laughs, this Santa is very bad. Kind of looks like me currently, like with just hair everywhere. And this Santa is like, hey, I know you. You're Squad 3D. You guys aren't friends anymore. And they're like, why do you know all of this? That was weird. They then go to a bar. They are getting absolutely plastered. And they argue about whether or not Squad 3D was a mistake. How dare they? No. How dare they even speak that? Squad 3D. Tydra's cousin shows up for some reason that I don't know why, but he shows up. And then the bartender, who is also the Santa from earlier, shows up, brings them free drinks. The name of the drink is Mistletoe Time Machine. And he then speaks some magical poem over them. Mm-hmm. And that's weird. They drink it. They're having a wonderful time. They get back to the house and they're knocked out. They are out of it. The next day, they all wake up and they are back in 2008. And they're super confused by this, but because Santa, I guess, wrote down the magic words, they see it and they're like, I guess this is our chance to fix it all. And at first they're like, we're going to get back together, Squad 3D.
Squad 3D.
That's what we need to do. But then once they start practicing, they're like, maybe this isn't what it's all about. Maybe this is our chance to fix the things that we wish that we could have fixed in high school, like becoming popular, being better at school, wearing crop tops. These are all things that we want to do. And so they all kind of go off in their own directions and they're doing the things that they feel like they want to do. And wouldn't you know it, it's working for a little bit until it's not. And maybe, Dan, maybe the thing that you think would just make everything okay in life isn't actually the thing that you need at all. Maybe all you need is Squad 3D.
Squad 3D.
Is Squad 3D. And so after a lot of running around, meeting high schoolers and whatnot, they finally come back together and they decide we're going to do this thing. So they go out, they perform as Squad 3D, and they crush it. They crush it. Now, a little bit earlier in the movie, they met back up with Santa, and Santa explained to them that everything that they do now changes the future.
Yes.
So that's a lot to take in.
A lot.
And so when they come back, when they performed, they're like, wow, this is amazing. A white screen appears. One of the girls is like, we're poofing, which is a fun thing to say out loud. They get back on stage and they are now accepting awards.
At the high school.
Yeah. For, hey, best ever.
Lifetime achievement.
Best ever. They all have significantly better lives. There are marriages that did not exist before that exist now.
Yeah.
A lot changes. But the one thing that changes that makes everything worth it, Squad 3D.
Squad 3D.
Squad 3D. Squad 3D. They all come back and they're amazed about how different their lives are. And it's all for the better because Squad 3D. And that, my friends, was Mistletoe Time Machine. Squad 3D. Squad 3D. This is how I imagine, like, this is like one day, God forbid, we stop doing this show.
Are you saying one day we're going to have a falling out?
No.
And then we're going to go back years later and get the band back together? Is that what you're saying?
Review another movie?
We review
DTH.
That's right. Yeah, everybody's going to be chanting DTH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll be invited on Good Morning America for a Lifetime Achievement Award.
It's going to be unbelievable.
It'd be incredible. Hey, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down here on Deck the Hallmark. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking about Mistletoe Time Machine. Aaron brought up an interesting question, which is a drink considered a time machine if it's something that you can't get inside of?
I would consider it one. Yes.
Yes,
if
I
a
would.
hot tub is a time machine,
But a hot tub is something you get in. You don't get inside the drink.
You're
the
drinking
drink
it.
gets inside. The drink gets inside of you.
Okay, but whatever. It's a talisman.
It's an implement.
Right. Yeah. Come on, guys.
I don't have a dog in this fight.
Yeah.
Alonzo, let's start with you with the hot take. Mistletoe Time Machine, with everything you got going on, you watched it. What did you think of it? Was it a fun time, as you like to say? Ooh, a treat.
You know, it was a treat. And I don't know if it's just because my last frazzle has been frazzled and maybe I can't be relied to have an actual opinion this week, but I kind of had a good time with this. Is it a Christmas movie? Barely.
No.
I acknowledge barely. Like you could have totally rewritten this movie to be like, you know, a 4th of July time machine, and you wouldn't have to change much at all.
Fireworks machine.
Exactly. Yes. You know, like a Shamrock time machine, whatever. It doesn't matter. With this movie, like most of these movies, would it have benefited from like a few more passes at the script, a longer shooting schedule, a larger budget? Absolutely, no question. But I thought the 3 leads were really charming. I like the fact that this was not like a film where, I mean, look, my favorite Hallmark movie last year was 3 Wise Men and a Baby. Did all 3 wise men have to have love stories? They did not. Did they have them? Yes. This movie, they don't make relationships for everybody, which is fine. Like, let's just focus on the friendship, focus on their career goals, whatever stuff's going on. There was enough here that I thought was really clever and different that I really quite enjoyed it. And I kind of felt like, given more resources, they really could have had something here. But even as a movie that's kind of a mess, there was quite a bit that I was delighted by.
I agree with Alonzo 100%. I thought that this was a really good time. There are like obvious problems that like for instance, like the movie starts off with the girls in high school, but they are the women that are now adults, but they're playing like they're in high school. But then when they go back in time, they are also the same women, but then they say that everybody sees them. But then they cast a different actor to play the kid version of an adult. And so it's like, why didn't you do that for all of them? There's so like, if you like sit with it for too long, I think you will drive yourself a little crazy. But like surface level, did I have a good time? Yes. Was the song awful? Yes. Did that affect my enjoyment of it? No. Was I happy that the full version was in the credits? Yes. What is this? One of the worst posters I've seen. Yeah. So a lot is going on here, but at the very just the base level, I really enjoyed it, and I applaud what they were going for here, because I thought that overall it was a really, really solid idea for a movie. Dano?
Yeah, the last thing you said is the best thing you said, Bran. I would say the script and the story means well. It isn't well, but it means well. I think that it could have done with a half dozen passes. I would say probably would be safe. The Christmas in this movie it's a question of Christmas.
No.
It's a question of Christmas.
Nice callback.
It's not Christmas. It is. The snow in this movie is embarrassing. It is tile floor that they've painted white. And then there's some really good zingers and one-liners, but there's so much that's just kind of like, I don't know if it's just slipshod or just put up there really quickly, and there's not enough focus on making the characters a little bit better. Instead, it's just, we know what we want to do. We want to like make these women strong and go back and realize that the thing they needed to do was to be strong and like realize who they are and be themselves. And that's awesome. And so for what you're trying to do, great. And for that reason, it's not like a terrible movie, but man, it's just a mess. It's just really, really messy in the process. And like you get the feeling that if Hallmark or even Lifetime would have gotten a hold of this movie and cleaned it up a little bit, it could have been one of the better ones of the year. But as it stands, it's just kind of there. And so I have some similar thoughts to you guys, but I did not have the same enjoyment level that you guys had with it,
Fair.
if that makes sense.
No one's shocked by that. It's time for all the feels. We're talking about what in this movie gave us feels. Alonzo, any feels for you in this one?
Well, I do love a Christmas smoking cocktail that's going to change things.
That was going to be mine.
I'm sure, Bran, you remember in the Mexican Santa Claus, there's the scene where the rich parents go out and the mysterious waiter wants to hand them the cocktail of remembrance.
I had to forget, but yes, I do remember.
So that always brings me back to that. I kind of liked Fleabag Santa. Like, I liked the idea that rather than cast the usual, like fluffy white bearded guy, like they're just like, trust me, it's Santa, just go with it. Okay. I think that kind of goes with the whole aesthetic of the movie in general. I do like a trying on clothes montage, especially in a time travel flashback movie where people are revisiting their own youth. And added to that, the fact that the three leads were women of color, which we very rarely get in a film like this. And they commented on it. They make one joke about it, which was funny, and then move on. I love the line, "Is it plagiarism if it hasn't happened yet?" Even though that's very much out of Hot Tub Time Machine, the whole joke about Craig Robinson's character, like
he's writing all the
writing the hit songs. Exactly.
That's a bit of that movie, I think.
It's the only thing I remember from Hot Tub Time Machine.
Correct.
And I like the joke about a slow motion power.
Yeah, that's good.
To your point about the three leads, I think this is the first time that I've been nervous to pronounce any of the leads' names, which is a positive. That's moving in the right direction when it comes to diversity. When I'm having the person number one, that's a good thing. But the Santa Claus, to your point, there was something that they did to the Santa Claus that I was like, they didn't need to do that, but I appreciate that they did. They gave this Santa Claus a little reindeer tattoo right here on his bicep that just tickled me. And I don't know why. I never wanted a tattoo before because the idea of having somebody hurt you on purpose is not my thing. But give me a reindeer tattoo right on my bicep because I know people are looking at my biceps to begin with. And so might as well give it something to really enjoy. Dano? That wasn't for you?
I mean, it's just that you're sharing a lot here, Bran. So my feels, aside from Bran's feels, is the one line when they meet Santa and they say, "You look like Santa's coked out cousin." I thought it caught me off guard. I thought it was funny. I did think he played weirdly like an off-brand Bernard from the Santa Claus in a weird way. That was fun. And so they had some like zingers throughout that I thought really worked in the movie. But that one was probably my favorite. That's what I'll go to.
Let's take one more quick break and we'll come back with the wait, what, and the to be or not to be here on Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark. I would get like a
Deck the Hallmark.
I'd get like a stick-on tattoo.
Of course,
I would do that.
Yeah, because pain is not your thing.
Pain's not my thing.
That's right.
But I'm not yucking anyone's yum in that regard. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Deck the Hallmark, where you can watch us talk about it and make Dan uncomfortable. You can watch his face right on the old Philo. Philo.tv/DTH to watch this episode and all of our episodes right there on Philo. Let's get to the wait, what, where we talk about what on this movie made us go, wait, what. Alonzo?
You've got like 6 or 7 months until Christmas Con if you want to get those tattoos made up. I think that's very much
actually Bran and I, when we started the business, we have an agreement. If we ever made a certain amount of money, that we would get matching tattoos. We are not near that money. So
can we go to the tote board on that one? Is there like a big thermometer poster somewhere?
Anything to worry about. But if we were ever to make that amount of money, it would be worth it because Bran has agreed to get a tattoo.
I will be honest. I will likely sell my shares before I do that. I'm no longer affiliated.
I'm with you on that one, but yeah, I get it.
No, I won't take the money.
Wow.
End it today. I can't do it. If you could,
Ow.
if there is a tattoo place that will like give me the funny gas and put me to sleep, then I would potentially do it. But the idea of sitting through it,
it gets numb after a while.
I understand. I understand. What are you?
That's not a selling point, Dan.
Okay. Can you say like where you have to get it?
No.
There are places on your body where it's not going to hurt.
That's
Yeah,
bad.
I don't care.
He doesn't like needles at all, Aaron.
I don't either.
I got one on my shoulder and it was fine.
Anytime I used to have to go to the doctor, I would cry for like 20 minutes.
Like people should honestly like stand and applaud me for getting the vaccine. Like that's how much I like. It's a big barrier for me. Big barrier.
The first time we got tested for COVID was going to a movie set.
Yeah,
I had to stick this thing up his nose, and I
was having a mini panic.
He was
attack.
literally breathing like he was going to start crying and just curl up in a ball and die. But if we make that money, he's getting a tattoo. He already told me, so we're good to go there.
I don't know about Aaron. I'm covered in nerve endings, so I don't know if there's any place
Everything
on my
hurts.
body where it would all hurt. It would all hurt.
Everything hurts me. I'm hurt right now talking about it. Like my body is like literally. I'm about to.
Sorry. Wait, what? Sorry,
Wait,
Alonzo.
what? No, I started this. My fault. Here's the thing. It's hard to wait what a time travel movie because they're making up their own rules as they go along.
Why do that?
Bold step of them to have it be like, oh, by the way, this isn't one of those deals where like you go back in time, learn a lesson, and come back. No. We're going full Back to the Future here, where everything that happens now is going to impact what happens later.
Those memories come back in waves. Don't worry.
Waves.
Yeah, that was of course the big wait. What it's like? Wait, so you're now in the future, but you remember the other alternative timeline thing?
Mm-hmm.
The other big one that occurred to me at the end was, given how successful they are in the point two, the 2022.2, why are they still in that same cruddy house? Like, wouldn't they be, living it up in a mansion somewhere? Like it seemed to me like their lives were real similar in that respect.
Yeah.
When they would be like, living on that 2 platinum albums money.
That's right. Yeah, it wouldn't be in that same house. No way.
That's kind of all I got because this movie operates under its own crazy logic.
Am I crazy, or did it also look like that somehow them coming together as a band healed the dad's kidneys?
Yeah.
Am I not mistaken? It looked as though in present day he no longer needs dialysis, and that is a wait what for the ages. If that's
presumably, like rich people, they get the good stuff, So he got new kidneys that who knows that he got on the black market. Heaven knows.
I saw Black Market Kidneys live.
What a show!
Amazing.
What a show!
Too many fireworks for me.
Well, and if you're in the first 3 rows, they give you that splatter poncho.
They sure do. I only have a couple as well. My biggest one is I don't care if your high school crush is 18. It is
Weird.
is weird, Mei Ling, if you go back in time and you are 30 something.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't think her friends liked it either, which made it a little bit better, but bold choice. And that comes from somebody who is willingly watching MILF Manor. There's a couple times where you see a football field.
Good gosh.
Which is the most egregious snow I've ever seen.
If we're calling that snow,
it is a bold choice. But this football field is right next to the school building.
Yes.
Like literally there's somebody who is on the football field, throws the ball like they're playing catch with their buddy, and somehow also hits the principal right in the
Mr.
teacher,
Sanchez.
Mr. Sanchez right in the old down there's, and all of that's happening like right here, me to you, Dan. So that football field is right there. Right there.
Right in the old down
Right in the old down there's. Again, that's my thing.
MILF Manor.
MILF Manor. Oh boy. Yeah, that's all I got, Dano.
Yeah, I will say that it's weird that you bring up that Mei Ling, like being with this 18-year-old is weird. But Taja's character, who she looks older than Mei Ling, And I know that that's her future husband, but like that dude looks positively 14 years old. And it is a weird scene when they're dancing together and hanging out together. And you said this while we're watching it, but they made the decision of having showing 5 people from the future,
right?
6 people from the future, including the dad. So the 4 that go back in time, her husband, Taja's husband, and the dad, 6 people from the future go back to the past. And in the past, 5 of them are played by the same actor. And
Right.
one of them is played by someone 20 years younger. And that, like, why would you do that? Like, why not make all 6 of them played by the same actor? It would save you money. The budget's
Even
low.
even if at the beginning of the movie they just casted 3 different girls.
Yeah.
That would have made it better to me, because then it's like, okay,
just in that video.
If they want to, if when they come back in time, they want to do the whole thing where it's like, oh, they can't, they see us as
which
younger.
Is the hot tub time machine.
Which they do to throw out there for just a second, that everybody sees them as their high schoolers. But the problem is we've also seen them as high schoolers.
And it looks just like
and
that.
they look identical.
Correct.
They look the same. So that was confusing.
Yeah.
That was confusing.
The arts really take it on the chin in this movie.
As they should.
Like denigrated to the point that at the end of the movie, when they're all 3 famous, they're not all 3 just singers in a band. One of them runs a talent agency and the other one writes. Like, they could not even at the end of this movie go, all 3 of these people made it successfully as artists. They couldn't even say that. Like, they literally only have one person that kind of makes it as an artist. The other 2 are in the band, but they do their own thing still that aren't the band. And all movie long, it's like, why you want to do art? You want to make something? You want to express? Well, what are you doing? And I thought, especially watching who am I missing? It's Tasia Mei-Ling and Ishani. Ishani's character, watching her like really like fight the patriarchy and like realize her feminism and do all this great stuff. I thought for sure that like all of the hating on the arts early in this movie was going to lead to them being like, no, like the arts are the lifeblood of our society and like important and like great. And they never do that.
Are you suggesting songwriting is not an art?
No, I'm not suggesting that. What I'm saying is that they don't just say they're a band now. They say one of them is a talent agent, like has a full other job and sings, and then one of them writes songs and sings. And they couldn't just say these 3 people are artists and they're great. I like the way I took that was we had to give them all their individual thing to do instead of all like there's still only one person that's
they
really
still can't.
Okay. Wait. I'm sorry. We need to unpack this, because Tasia's whole thing is she wanted to be a songwriter and she gave it up to raise a family and all that stuff. And so at the end of the movie, she's a songwriter. The movie is absolutely saying, yes, follow your passions, do the arts.
Ishani is working a full-time job and doing this career thing.
That's a weird thing, which like I guess
just need to pass.
First adult Ashani like wants to be a manager, but she's actually somebody's flunky. So why they felt they need to hang on to that, I have no idea. But I thought that at least Taja very specifically says early on, like, don't follow the arts. You know, you gotta make money and earn a living. And at the end of the movie, she is the artist that she wanted to be, which is a songwriter.
Fair. I'll grant that.
But to your point, even in our wildest dreams, that band is not a full-time thing.
No.
2 platinum albums.
There's no way that's their thing.
They walk into a classroom and the board just says math test on it, which is a weird thing for like, I've taught for a while. I never just write history tests on the board when I give a test out.
You're not doing it right.
How would they know?
How would they
test
know?
On Friday, but if you walk in and it just says math test, I think it's too late to study at that point. You probably like the bet has been made. I think you're just going to take the test. It is 2 days until the end of the semester for a solid fortnight in this movie. They say it's 2 days to the end of the semester when they travel back in time, and then we proceed to have a month's worth of activities. It is absurd.
What I love about it is how much attention they draw to it.
Yes,
because
they keep Xing out the calendar.
I keep forgetting that time matters, and then they X out a calendar, and I'm like, that was only a day?
No way. No
need to tell me that.
Maybe there are like sub-cycles within the Mistletoe time machine that allow them to repeat certain days.
Yeah, there's micro travels that are happening here that we're not even getting into. That's how deep this movie is. A buzzer to gong off high school kids showing you your talent is mean-spirited. I want to be very clear. As someone who has been called mean-spirited on this program, and I try not to be, having a high school battle of the bands and having someone there to gong you off and basically say, you don't even need to finish the thing that you've practiced, that's mean-spirited. That's not in the spirit of Christmas or in the spirit of high school talent shows.
That does come from somebody who has a buzzer next to him while he watches these movies and just goes, bah.
Yeah, these are professional movie makers. We don't we've all been to our fair share of high school talent shows and we know that some acts need to be gonged off, but we don't do it because it is the opportunity for people to learn how to fail without feeling miserable. Like that is part of it. And so let's honor that and not buzz people off like they're playing Taboo in the process. Like, you did something, you've got to leave. You can't do it.
Yes.
This woman, who is now 33 years old, goes back in time, and her goal is to pass high school, which admirable. And she invents, quotes, if you're watching Philo, invents steam. And that isn't enough. She makes a bridge out of water bottles that should sustain the weight of a human. Now, does she practice on that bridge before turning it in just to make sure? No, she does not. The one surefire way to make sure your project is a success is to walk across that bad boy before you turn it in. She doesn't do it. It's like, I'm just going to risk it for the biscuit here. I know it's my second chance to get a high school diploma. I'm going to risk it and walk across this thing for the first time when I present. That was patently absurd.
That day didn't repeat. She didn't have time to do it.
That's right. And then we said it before, it bears repeating. Whatever they're on is not a football field and is not snow. Like, it has no dimension to it. It is a solid white color. It is like someone got on concrete and just painted it white. That is what they are passing for snow in this movie. Like, every other snow in every other Christmas movie we've watched looks more like snow than the football field does in this movie. There's no lines on the football field, and there's no one stepping in and making a footprint. It's
like a white void.
It's just solid white
surface
is all it is. Real bad on that front. That is all I got.
It's time for the to be or not to be, where we wonder what could have been, maybe having some clarity what should we still have. Alonzo, what are you still wondering about, buddy?
Well, we're meant to understand in the first version of their adulthoods that the buzzer lady clearly was the ruination of maybe two of them. Definitely Ashani, with the whole anger management stuff, but apparently also Mei Ling got her to record some really terrible single called was it Booty on Fleek, I believe is the name of it. Yeah. That she's now embarrassed by. And so I
get that clip of Alonzo saying booty on fleek.
Look, I don't write this stuff. I'm just quoting it.
Shred.
I'm here to shred. Booty on fleek.
So my question is, now that they have gone through and become successes on their own and stuff, do they use their power and influence to stick it to Buzzer Lady somehow, with her not even knowing why?
Yeah.
She just turns around one day and there's her doom, and she doesn't know why or what she did exactly. Yeah. But just we're gonna get her anyway. It's more of a Lifetime movie, but that's the movie I want to see.
I love it.
So Ashani is married at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
To the guy, the cousin who time traveled. And I think the only reason he time traveled is for this reason. But they hadn't talked in forever. It doesn't seem like. They meet back up at this pub or bar. They travel back in time, and they kind of start talking, and then right before they perform, they kiss, and then they time travel back, and they are now married.
And they remember that in waves.
But they also remember their old life.
Correct.
So that doesn't seem like it would make for a super like healthy marriage, right? Because it's like we didn't even choose this. I don't really remember it.
It wouldn't.
And so
it
what
wouldn't
he
make for
does,
a
what
healthy
he
brain,
for sure,
like it would be schizophrenia.
but so what he decided to do is be like, I want you to know that even though I didn't pick this to begin with, I am picking it now, and I am going to ask you to marry me again. I don't know, man. I don't. That's a lot, and they want us to be like pumped about it, but like I'm so concerned for their marriage because that's a lot to handle, and I don't know if I didn't feel like it was necessary. Like, why couldn't they have just gone back to the future and had that memory of them kissing and be like, "Hey, you want to give this thing a shot now?"
Exactly.
Why'd they have to make them marry?
Because everybody else's lives changed. So
I know
that would mean they knew
kissed
that they loved each
once,
other, and then they just didn't do
they
anything
kissed
about it.
once.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
all it took.
I like to think that at some point in their lives, second timeline just erases first timeline.
Yeah.
But like they just got back and they just poofed, and so they're still sort of remember the two, paths diverting in a wood. But at some point, old path just goes away, and it's like it never happened because it didn't, and they just forget about it and they live life as a path two.
So
or what always
it
happened.
comes in waves and it leaves in waves.
I would hope
People
for
that
their
make
sake.
a time travel movie have to decide if it's a single timeline or if it's different universes. And this movie was like, what if it was? What if we didn't have to choose?
What if we didn't bother to?
What if no?
What if it didn't? What if we didn't choose? Hear me out. What if we didn't choose? Let's choose later. And then they
What if
never,
everything?
until you get both, and then everyone's walking around in two different timelines at the same time, talking crazy. That's what happens at the end of this movie. It's a bunch of people walking around talking to themselves. That is what happens. That is how that works.
Because it's just like
It's absurd, is what it is.
even if you have these memories in waves, there's a difference between like a memory and also like living it, right?
Correct.
So it's just like, just because I remember you like taking me to the Olive Garden on Valentine's Day, and then I was like, this is the guy, doesn't mean like you didn't live that. Like, I don't know. They didn't need to do that. Is all I'm saying. And I mainly just
Olive
Why.
Garden on Valentine's Day.
Hey,
Yikes.
Who says no to that?
lucky.
Taste of Italy. Mine is similar. The cousin who ends up being Ashani's husband, is it Caleb? Is that his name? I believe that is his name. So when they're about to drink the drink, also known as the time machine, the bartender who is Santa, and in this movie, we're supposed to believe that Santa is omniscient. He's all knowing. Like he knows what's going to happen. He is like, no. Don't let it here. You're not supposed to mix. Don't because they mix the drink and they give Caleb a share of their drink. He is assuming only 3 of them are going back in time. So clearly they depart from what Santa believes the timeline is going to be. And so my question is that clearly they were supposed to learn something that didn't involve Caleb that he wanted them to learn. And then when Caleb jumped in, they threw in that engagement thing because that's what happens. So what was the other timeline? What happens if it happens the way Santa wants it to happen?
This was clearly Santa's first time doing this.
Yeah.
Like he was surprised by all of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the difference between, do you believe that Santa has already predestined our lives?
That's right.
Or do we have free will and choice, and it's up to us to follow Santa's teachings?
That's right. Imagine.
Thank you, John Piper.
Imagine a door, if you would.
Yes.
You open the door, and on the back of the door, it says Santa poured you a drink. Sorry. I think we're playing to a small crowd now, but that is my crowd.
We did, everybody. Congratulations. I'm very excited about next week's movie.
Are you?
I am. Have you seen? Do you know next week's movie?
Lay it on me. I need to know.
Your reputation precedes yourself, Brandon.
Exactly.
Hotel for the Holidays. It's a freebie movie, which I believe is just like Prime. It's for Prime.
It used to be IMDb TV.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not freebie. It stars A Girl from Riverdale, and the new Aladdin.
So you don't know anyone's names. A girl from Riverdale.
The redhead from Riverdale and the new Aladdin.
God, we're the worst.
What's the title again?
Hotel for the Holidays. Hotel for the Holidays. Yes.
Okay.
Great.
So there you go.
A whole new world awaits.
Oh boy, next week's gonna be tough. Well, you know what? That's what happens.
Show you.
That's what happens. You've never had a friend like me. That's just kind of how it goes. Hey, we're back next time with another one. Until then, we're the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.